Yo. Welcome to the Jawn podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Mills.
I'm your man, P.
What's going on, bro? Yo, 2 weeks in a row. I'm smoking these intros, dog.
Yeah.
Finally got it.
Yeah.
No stutters, no nothing. So what's going on, man?
I can't call it, man.
Man, still getting your ass kicked?
A little bit, but I'm used to it now.
I got you.
You know, I didn't had to dust my shoulders off.
I feel you. So listen, real quick, before we jump right into it, before we even get to tales, before we get to anything, Patreon, what up? If you are not a member of the Patreon at the Jawn podcast, I suggest you go head over there now.
Mm-hmm.
The merch is up for all our Patreon subscribers. The merch is fire.
Y'all really don't want to miss out.
Listen.
When Mills hit me up and said, "Yo, check this out," and I checked it out, I said, "I need everything."
Yo, listen. Some people, we already got some purchases, so head on over. It's $5. The merch is not expensive at all.
Nope.
And just keep in mind too, some of the stuff that the Patreon people can have an opportunity to purchase before we open it, you won't see those stuff again.
No.
And also keep in mind too, this is the first season of the merch. It's going to be forever evolving. I think the only thing that's going to remain is the apron. Everything else is going to switch up.
But even the apron is fire, though.
I know, but like the apron, we could just to stick with the thing.
Yeah.
The apron is fire. If we saying the apron fire, socks fire.
Them socks, bro. And listen,
I told you I was
I'm
cooking.
sock guy.
I told you I was cooking. Them Jones crazy. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So listen, head on over to Patreon. We'll announce when we officially go live with the store. But if you want to get in there early, show some support early, just head on over to the Patreon now. YouTube, like, share, and subscribe. Subscribers, we getting up there.
We are.
We putting in some work.
Mm-hmm.
So head on over to YouTube. Also, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I mean, we everywhere.
Audible.
So let's get into it. Let's get into tales. You want to kick it off?
Yeah, I'll kick it off.
All right, my man.
All right. So this week for Tales, this story actually takes me back home, takes me to the spot.
Okay.
And it's funny because I was thinking about it the other day, just on some random shit. But we were still downstairs. You weren't there.
Mm-hmm.
But we were still downstairs. It was towards the end. And this is when we had to not get ready to get out because you were back then.
Oh yeah.
You was back by then.
Mm-hmm.
But it was that period in between.
Was that when she called me to come? She needed me when I had left school to come up there.
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
She called me in a frenzy.
She did. I remember that like it was yesterday. So I'm in the kitchen. Mr. R was cooking that day, so you know it was going to be solid.
Yeah, shout out to Mr. Rob.
It was going to be solid.
Mm-hmm.
And it was towards the holiday. So he was like, "Listen, I need you to help me wrap this card up."
Okay.
Because remember that little fridge right there in the kitchen? Like he would use that. Like it was his basically.
I think so.
It was tucked like right there by the door when you walking back towards the storeroom. It's a little refrigerator. It's very easy to miss. So he was like, "I need you to help me wrap this card up, and we're going to put it in my refrigerator." So I said, "Cool." So he did the old school thing: take the plastic wrap out the box, put it on there.
Uh-huh.
You hold it still. I'm gonna spin the cart, and we're just gonna do it like that.
Uh-huh.
Cool. We doing it. Got it done. Put it in the fridge. So he was like, "Listen, you already got the concept. Wrap this one for me. I gotta run to the bathroom real quick." No, I ain't.
Okay.
You gotta give me some credit.
My bad. Okay,
you're expecting the worst.
My bad.
So I wrap it. I'm doing it. It's like I'm having a ball wrapping this card up. I'm wrapping it. I put it in the refrigerator.
Mm-hmm.
I wrapped it too good.
Okay. How you wrap it too good?
So when we opened up the plastic wrap, it was a brand new box.
Mm-hmm.
half that shit was gone off of 2 carts. Bruh.
Oh my god.
Bruh. You would have thought I was wrapping a mummy the way I was wrapping that cart up. When we took it out the fridge, the plastic was coming off the cart. It was like this thick.
Oh my god. He like, ain't no air getting in here.
None. Bruh. We had to cut the plastic with like 2 butcher knives.
Oh my god.
To cut it to open that joint up. I was having so much fun. I lost track of time.
You was running around it, or you was just spinning the cart and holding it in place?
No, I had to run around it because I couldn't hold the Jawn and spin the cart.
Oh, okay. Use your feet, man.
Because it was just me. I know.
This is early.
But it was early. I was, 20, 21? Even though at that age you should have common sense.
Right. No.
You definitely should. But he couldn't help but laugh. He was like, yo, I don't know if you wanted to preserve the food or like if you never wanted me to use it. Mm-hmm. But whatever was on your mind, it served the purpose.
Right.
Because by the time we got all the plastic off the cart, me and Mr. Rob had both broke a sweat.
Oh my god.
Good times in the kitchen, yo. Good times in the kitchen. You know, you need situations like that.
Yeah.
You need a little levity so you can laugh, but then also look at your coworker like you a fucking jackass. It's the last time I asked you to do anything.
Listen, he can't say you're not coachable.
Yeah.
He said wrap the cart. He didn't specify like a mummy wrap or just like a little, but
the
light wrap.
The funniest part about the whole story, I was so proud of myself when I was done. I was like, hell yeah, I killed that shit.
So this tells, I know I talk about like the New York thing, like it was all fun. Mm-hmm. It was just like a party. This was like the moment where I was like, I don't, this ain't for me.
Okay.
So it was, I'm trying to remember what holiday it was. I can't remember what holiday it was, but they had just, remind you, I was there. I was acting exec / traveling chef. So I was just there helping out.
Right.
But I knew they were going to hire somebody, but I was also going to work in a different restaurant in New York if I chose to stay.
Okay.
So the chef that they hired, he worked there before. He was cool. There's 2 kind of chefs: your cocky ones and your arrogant ones. I don't get along with the arrogant ones. So listen, I turn the keys over to you. This is everything I set up. This is how everything's supposed to look. We're getting inspected next week. I got us in a good shape.
Right.
He's like, yeah, I'm about to just change everything. Don't worry about that. So it's like, okay. So then this holiday, he's like, hey, we had 2 call outs. I need you to work a station. So I'm like, all right, put me on a worst station, which was appetizers.
Why is appetizers the worst station?
Because the different things we had to do, the amount of prep that you had to do for each individual thing, it wasn't like a one time real quick.
Okay.
It's step after step after step after step.
Got you.
So you could spend, the one thing I know what we was going to use for how many I had to set up, hour and a half already gone.
Damn.
Because it's like one of those things where it calls for 4 different things you got to do for this one dish.
I got you. Okay.
And then there's another dish, same thing. It's 4 different processes you have to do.
Okay.
So it was those 2 I knew we was going to get killed on. And then it was another one I knew we was going to get killed on, but it wasn't nothing crazy. it start cracking.
Got you.
But I'm ready. I say this all the time. I'm a vicious prepper. I'm ready. Me and him, we was going back and forth that whole night. Slow down. Speed it up. What are you doing, chef? I need this. Now, in the middle of the shit, I was like, yo, pick a speed. And you make sure everybody else is on that same speed. I don't do slow down and then speed up. What are we doing? He's like, man, you're going to be the reason we fall under. What? So what he was trying to do was exert dominance, but it don't work in how he was going about it. So what he was trying to do was try to make me look bad. And what made it even worse, that night he called my regional and told the regional, I gotta go. He don't want me in the kitchen. So my regional called me, was like, yo, what the fuck happened in there? So I said, I can tell you exactly what happened. I said, instead of encouraging the staff that was fucking up, he was placing the blame on me for their fuck ups. So he was like, that don't make sense. And I was like, you're right. It don't make sense. If this person fired a steak too early, don't tell me to speed up. Tell him to right the wrong.
Right.
But he was using that station, because it's the appetizer station, to say I wasn't moving fast enough. And I was like, if this is what it's like up here, where people just fucking, because if they don't like you, they can make the call to get you going. It's like, bro, I ain't here for that. Right. And it was a good thing, like my regional, we kind of fuck with each other, so he knew it was some bullshit. So then he called me back the next morning. He's like, just so you know, can you stay longer? I was like, hell yeah. So he's like, okay, good. Because he knew he knew me well enough to know I had every intention to make his life miserable until I left.
So you did leave?
I was there for another couple months.
Okay.
But I was bouncing around the different restaurants.
Okay.
It's like 3 or 4 locations. So I would just bounce around. But he would think I was going, and I'd just come back. Be like, yeah, I'm here tonight. What's up? Just being petty. I'm a Scorpio, bro.
I know he hated you for that.
He did. Because you know what it is, and I always say this. So you know me, I don't talk much. People think the quiet shit mean pussy.
Yeah.
No, it just mean I don't want to talk.
Right.
So, but when I do talking, you know, if you get me to that point, I ain't gonna shut up. And now I'm gonna be an ass.
That I do know.
So that's why you my man. We ain't never had that energy. Maybe once or twice, but it was like,
I don't even remember the once or twice.
No, I said it was light. Remember I asked you if you could fight?
Oh yeah. To this day, I still thought you was playing. Like, he's not serious.
Okay, I you know, depending on how you responded.
Like, he can't be serious, yo. You know what? Remember in Baby Boy when Jody was getting brolic with Ving, and he was like, "All right, youngster,"
Mama,
and then he choked it. That's how I felt in that moment. I felt like he was Jody. He was trying me. Like, all right, youngster, go ahead, yo.
I wouldn't have fucking quoted the movie if I knew that's where you was going with it.
Yeah. All right, youngster.
All right, let's get into the topic of this week. Today, we're discussing our favorite culinary movies, TV shows, all things entertainment-wise that involves this glorious thing of ours. Now, you know, we've since gave extreme high praises to The Bear.
Yeah.
Without question. That, I can honestly say, is in my number 1 spot.
Okay.
1A, 1B. Depending on the day, it changes.
Really?
Yeah.
To what?
Burnt.
Okay.
But Burnt with Bradley Cooper. We just talked about it a couple weeks ago. But yeah, that's like my 1A, 1B, because it's like, damn, this is so fucking close.
No, they are.
It's just when they sprinkle in the madness, I like, you didn't have to do that.
But it worked though.
It really worked For sure.
And I don't honestly, I don't think that without the sprinkles of madness, I don't think it would have worked.
With the bear, the madness was outside of the restaurant.
Yeah.
Anytime it was like the crazy shit where I'm like, what the fuck? It was never inside the restaurant. And then the crazy shit that happened in the restaurant was some real shit. Like when he got locked in the freezer. And then we talked about that with that in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yeah, this type of shit happens when the printer debacle happened and Sydney quit. Like, I appreciate that the bear keeps the insanity outside. The shit was when his mom drove the car in the crib, bro. I'm like, all right, that's some TV shit. But it could happen.
That was crazy. And like you said, Jamie Lee Curtis deserves all kinds of awards for that.
Man, every time she popped up, bro, she was killing. What you got?
Well, for me, when it comes to culinary shows, I'm vicious Food Network bull.
For sure.
You know, and it's funny because anything Guy Fieri related,
You tuning in?
bro, diners, drive-ins, and dives, hands down, my like top 3 culinary show ever.
Let me tell you something. He was in Philly one day. This is years ago. Years ago. He went to this restaurant that was literally a block and a half away from me. And I was like, I never knew this was there. And I went and I was like, damn, all right.
It was in South Philly?
Nah, this was Germantown Ave.
For the show or just in general?
What you mean?
Like he was in Philly for something?
No, for the show.
For the show.
It was this one restaurant on Germantown Ave. And I was like, wait, I was like, why that look like the bottom of my block? So I drove and I was like, oh shit. And I went. It was that place has since gone. But it was Haitian food.
Really?
Oh my, it was really, really good. Like really good.
Yeah, dog, the Guy Fieri don't miss.
For sure.
And diners, drivers, and dives. I love Guy's grocery games.
Mm.
He has so many shows.
He was printing money over at the Food Network.
What? Bro, did you see his current contract?
Nah, I don't want to look at them things.
Yo.
He's entertaining.
Yo. You talk about paid?
First off, let's keep it a buck.
He is Food Network.
He kept them afloat. Bro. For a long time. And kudos to him and shout out to him. Food Network was on a decline. And then he popped up.
Yeah. And
then he started pulling in like you could tell he was phoning in favors, because I remember it was Food Network wasn't great.
Food Network wasn't good. Great. It wasn't good.
Yeah, it was the old lady, I can't remember her name, but she got caught for saying nigga.
Oh yeah, her the one that had the pottery and all that stuff.
Yeah. Her. It was her. I can't remember her name. Emerald Lagasse and Bobby Flay would pop up, but not often.
Bobby Flay was he was like the guy when you was in the jam, you could call him. Yeah,
and then you had the Emerald Lagasse, and then there was another. Oh my God, these names are escaping me. But the tall, heavyset Italian dude, Mario Balto. He used to have a show. So that early iteration, although it was cool, it was geared to something very specific. And then you bring Guy Fieri on, and he's like going to these places and these cities and these towns, going to local places. Then it's like, oh, okay.
I'm gonna tell you the 3 people that is currently keeping Food Network afloat, even though Food Network is in a great position.
Oh, hell yeah.
Guy Fieri.
Of course.
Bobby Flay.
Mm-hmm.
And Chef Alex Guarnaschelli.
Yes. Listen.
I butchered her last name.
Oh, yeah. Guarnaschelli. I got you. But it's just, and then you have those three. I think that's the previous generation. This new generation that's coming in. We putting this out there that we're going to be a part of that new generation.
Mm-hmm.
They got some new up and coming people that they're going to be a force. So, but for me, Jamie Oliver, I don't know why this is a thing, but in like that culinary world, I don't know why he get critiqued so bad.
Mm-hmm.
He had the show called Food 911.
I heard of that.
And that was the show that got me doing this. Because he was teaching this lady how to make scrambled eggs. And I'm like, how you don't know how to make scrambled eggs? But the super fluffy, perfect scrambled egg, he showed her how to do it. I copied it. I said, holy shit. So anytime Food 911 was on, I was watching it. Then just as a personal, like this somebody who like I looked up to, anything Bobby Flay, I was watching it. And then Chopped is my shit.
Chop used to give me migraines
because they would give you that basket. You'd be like, what the fuck is this?
I would try to figure that basket out, and for the life of me, it's like, how?
This what I would do. They would show what's in the basket. I would pause it and I'd give myself 2 minutes to figure something out.
Okay.
And then it'll be like, okay, cool. Then I'll watch the show and I'll be like, damn, I had an idea. And then so it's like, all right. So now once you realize, I mean, with Chopped, you get to see something different. What hurt my feelings is when they did the Chop with the kids.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm like, damn, they dead nice. And they like 9 years old. They can't even see above the counter. So yeah, Chop for sure.
I think some of that shit though with the kids, I think some of that shit be Hollywood. I think it'd be rigged.
You talking about like industry plants?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. But I understand how some of those kids were as talented as they are. Because when you find out what their parents did, it makes sense. Because there was a couple kids whose parents were actual chefs, mom and dad. So it's like, oh, it's in your DNA.
Yeah, like you don't got no choice.
You do got a choice, but like you just see it. You don't see, get them hot dogs out the freezer. It's, well, mom said we making hot dogs.
Right.
So they perspective is just super wide.
No, yeah, I get that. You know who else had and has, because I think it was better back then than it is now, but it's still good. Chef Robert Irvine.
Oh, he does the bar rescue, I think.
Yeah.
He be cussing him the fuck out. But then you look
big time.
But you look and see what some of these establishments be having going on. It's like
they deserve it.
What?
Like, bro, like what you always say, you can kill somebody with negligence, and that watching those commercials is the most negligent shit I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. Like how, bro? Like how in good conscience can you come to work and see the conditions of your establishment, especially the kitchen, and say, all right, we good, open up,
ready for service?
Yeah, like what? It's
been so many, like I watch it, but I really only watch it for when he open the refrigerator, because that lets me know like he pulled something out the freezer. He said, I know this been in here for over a year. And then they started peeling off the plastic. Nobody knew what it was.
No dates, no dates, no labels, no nothing.
It's many episodes I saw where there's mold on multiple things. Like, you're fucking disgusting.
Bro, listen, you know it's bad when he tells them to shut it down. Shut it down. We're not even open. And just close this bitch altogether.
I remember he shut something down on opening night. He said, nope, we're not even doing this. And it's yeah, you're right. You can kill somebody, and how people just fail to see that
because all they see is green. They just listen. I don't care that our service is subpar. I'm trying to get paid.
It's like, what? Have some integrity.
Something. But yeah, no, Robert Irvine, he's a guy. He's bull, and sure. He definitely helps to hold Food Network down.
So I've always been like an early bird. Like I always wake up super early in the morning. Just early Food Network when they used to play Iron Chef, but the Japan one.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't really understand what was going on. It's funny as shit.
Wait, the Japan one with all the contestants?
Yeah, but it's the old school one. So it was like the early 90s. I used to wake up early and just watch it. And I would just watch that like regular TV. And this is a fucked up joke, but this comedian was like, people who speak Japanese sound like they're yelling condiments. So I watched it one day, and a comedian, he was like, people that speak Japanese be like, honey mustard. Don't you know? I'm fucking watching this shit. She fucking said it.
For real?
Fucking said honey mustard. I'm like, no, this can't be real. But watching what they do, like, because their cuisine is completely different as far as over here. The techniques are still the same. They just have a different view of it. If I could find it every once in a while, I'd pop it on. I'd be like, learn something.
They heavy sauce people.
Learn something new. Yeah, like when I was like teaching myself how to make ramen, I would watch that, read a book. Watch that, read a book. Like my ramen game is official.
Official tissue?
Yeah, what? Yeah, for sure. Another movie, we might have to discuss this in the future, but it's a movie called Chef. Jon Favreau, John Leguizamo. It's kind of similar to Burnt. This dude, he had a meltdown. Lost his title, his restaurant, made his own food truck. But the tale of the whole story is, the movie is crazy.
Okay.
The behind the scenes is crazy, and he had a show on Netflix. Like Jon Favreau fell in love with the culinary industry after he made that movie. So he had this show on Netflix. He was with some of the people that helped train him. They were working on, hey, we made this in a movie. Let's make it here. So Chef, that's a dope movie you guys should check out. What you got? You got something else?
I forget his name. Black guy. Heavyset guy. He has a show. Now, I don't know if it came back for a second season, but he did have a whole first season.
Right.
He has a show on Netflix where he goes around. It's basically diners, drive-ins, and dives. That's basically what it is.
Right.
But he goes around across the country, different cities, whatever the case, and does food reviews. But the way he does his show, let's just say, like, okay, he did an episode in Baltimore.
Okay.
He would go to like 3 or 4 different locations and try, their signature stuff.
Right.
Then he would score it, grade it, blah, blah, blah. And at the end of the show, he would pick the establishment that he liked the best and what he had there. And that establishment would be the winner. But he would highlight multiple locations all in one show versus, the way it's done on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, where you go to, he's at 3 different locations, but he's in 3 different cities.
Right. Yeah. And they kind of smash everything together.
Yeah. And the black guy I'm talking about that has the show, he highlights on his show all small business, mom and pop type shit. No conglomerates. Right. No nothing like that. Same as Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, just the local man. Right. But some of the stuff that he was eating on there was like, yo, next time I'm in this city, I'm going.
I'm going to say this, and I just had this thought. Food Network is great. It's a classic motto. It's been here forever. Vice TV, Fuck That's Delicious with Action Bronson. Amazing. It's amazing because it's the culture. And if you really want to see how
Action Bronson is a foodie.
He's a chef.
Yeah, like
so he's been in the business. He knows. So you got that, and you got Maddie Matheson from the Bear fame with It's Supper Time on Vice. Like it's how Vice is how their motto of how they do shows in general is already amazing, and then you start doing these cooking shows that. Yes, Food Network is more refined, presentable, suit tie. Vice we could actually cook though. Like, what's up? And their shows are amazing. And then they bring on their homies. With Fuck That's Delicious with Action Bronson, he brings on the rapper homies and teaches them how to make stuff. And then they bring their favorite recipes and they refine them. One time they I never saw this instrument before, but it looked like two sticks with 2 points on it, and there was like a glass that sat in the 2 points.
Okay.
And they rotated it. It was like a whole glass, and they were making a seafood boil in that. And I was like, what the fuck?
That's crazy.
It literally looked like a glass bottle with two bottlenecks on the end.
Okay.
So, and it was like, they had it rotating, and they were just adding different stuff in there, and they poured it out. And I was like, I know that smells amazing.
Just like you alluded to, Food Network kind of set the foundation, the groundwork for a lot of these other networks and shows and so on and so forth. But not to be slept on, there are a lot of shows out here.
For sure.
On a lot of networks that people wouldn't necessarily think about. Because when you mentioned Vice just now, I know Vice. I've watched a couple things on Vice,
just general shows.
Yeah, but I never knew the shows that you was just talking about was on there, and never would have thought, hey, listen, let me check out Vice because I'm pretty sure they got some bomb ass food stuff on there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it's just like, just the homies cooking out. That's what it feels like. It don't feel like a cooking show. It just feels like a barbecue, which you kind of need both. You kind of need the super technical stuff that the Food Network provides, and then you also need the we at the barbecue with it. What's up? Another show, please go check this out. It's called High on the Hog.
I heard of that.
How African American Cuisine Transformed America. And it's so, just if you're black, go watch it.
Okay.
It gives you a history of how, we built the country.
Yeah.
But it tells the story of how we transformed the cuisine too, in which it kind of gets overlooked because food is food. High on the Hog. It's on Netflix. Please go check that out.
Okay.
What's so interestingly funny is this new iteration of Iron Chef. It was like the global one. It was different countries versus different countries. One of the co-hosts, she goes on to explain how amazing Korean fried chicken is, and it's the greatest fried chicken ever. And then the other co-host, Alton Brown, corrects her and says they actually learned how to fry chicken from the black GIs that were sent over there in the Vietnam War. So even something small like that's a part of culinary history. Our food not only transformed America, but it transformed the world.
You ain't lying about that, brother.
So yeah, for sure. Well, she got another show that you be watching, man, that you into?
Let me see. You know what? It's funny. I mean, even though we mentioned it already, Kids Baking Championships.
I can't watch them. I get discouraged.
It's like, how are they doing this?
Yeah.
Like how? But again, some of it is just genetics because their parents are in it.
Yeah.
Other times is like they're just really gifted.
Right. No, yeah. And
But
it's something you could definitely like work on it and get good. But it's just some kids, like those second generation, third generation chefs, like their mind is elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, man, let's jump in the tails and then dip up out of here.
Sure.
What you got? Oh, I'm sorry, not tails. Motivational mic drop. My apologies. You got something for the people? You want to motivate the people?
Yeah, I got you. So, for my motivational mic drop this week, I would have to say, never stop learning.
For sure.
And it doesn't matter what your profession is, what your craft is, same thing. That doesn't matter where you are in life, none of that, because there's always something to learn. And then a lot of times in our professions, things are constantly evolving. So in our line of work, look at how far the food service industry came.
For sure.
There's a million different ways to do a million different things. Mm-hmm. So don't pigeonhole yourself and just put yourself in a box, whereas though you're only in one place. Learn as much as you can. Make yourself more valuable, even if you're just doing it for yourself, just so you can, do some stuff around the house that you never thought you'd be able to do in the kitchen. Mm-hmm. But there's always room for improvement, but you can't improve if you're not willing to take the time to learn something new.
Yo, listen, I'm going to say this quote. It's kind of funny, but to piggyback on what you said about like, keep learning. Mm-hmm. This guy said, if they don't have books, don't fuck them. Wow. And let me tell you, but it goes into what you're saying. You have to constantly be evolving and learning. Mm-hmm. So like that's a tell sign of like, okay, are you evolving? Are you learning? Are you the same person yesterday as you are today? So yeah, but I fucks with it, dog. You see. For motivational mic drop, it's a quote by James Caan. He said, "My least favorite phrase in the English language is I don't care."
Least favorite. Because that attitude won't get you far. At all.
Find something you care about and invest in it. Treat it like a plant. You plant the seed, you water the seed, it grows.
Right.
You don't care about the seed, don't expect to get anything from it. So remove I don't care from your language, from your vocabulary.
Nah, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
And sometimes it gets so bad, people don't even realize they're saying it.
Yeah. And then even then that goes into the words you're putting out in the universe. It's like, be careful.
Yeah.
So there you have it, man. Another week in the books. Like YouTube, like, share, subscribe, Patreon. Go sign up to the Patreon. $5. All major streaming platforms, we are there. Please add Gilly the King, add Wallow267. $1 million worth of game. They doing this new show where they're highlighting new up and comers, and we would love to be on there. So add them, put in their comments at the Food Jawn Podcast. Put it as many times as you want. Spam them. We got, we will be on there for sure.
Yep.
So once again, I'm your host Mills.
I'm your man P.
Love, peace, and chicken grease.
Peace.